Hello, good morning. You can see some of this light reflections. It's kind of dark out here. Oops. I am drinking coffee and semi-camping. I have a little cup holder for my coffee. That's pretty cool. I was sitting here looking at the stars, smoking a cigarette for a minute, and that I should do a live video because, of course, I look like crap, and that sounds like the perfect thing to do. I don't know if it's that look like, sound like, something. So I thought I would do that. I haven't no. I was like, maybe I can sit it somewhere, but everything is really slippery. I don't think that's gonna happen. I'm going to sit it there, but yeah, it's not very roomy in here for sitting up. I'm definitely not in a van, and the light keeps cutting off. So I can shut the door and do stuff. I do have a let's see, trying out different things because of course I'm not just at home, but I'm making a list of things I need. I've got the sleeping stuff all figured out. I have this mattress thing, and oh, I know where I can do. When I sit I sit back here, right there. So it's not very tall. I can't sit up back here, really. I mean, I can get in and stuff, but if I'm back here, it's for lounging. It's not tall enough to sit in. It's not exactly big enough for two people. A very tall man could not, or a very, very tall woman could, not lay back here with me. So, possibly, it'd be very comfortable. It would definitely be a sleeping thing. Not too much of a chillin', hanging out thing. It is not that big. Man, so, we're definitely gonna have to do something about a light. Because the light will not stay on for very long. They don't, which is awesome, for a car and stuff, but I think they have little battery powered lights and stuff, little streams of lights or something I could put in here or something for a minute. I don't know. I mean, I guess a lantern would be fine too, but the little battery powered lanterns, but they just don't give off the same light as the car light, but whatever. Just need like a light that doesn't cut on and off constantly, because that's annoying if you're trying to do something. So that is definitely something I need for camping, is better lighting situation. I got my paint for my bathroom. I'll paint my bathroom. It's gonna be green instead of blue. I probably picked up ugly, terrible color because I'm irritated, but I don't think clearly all the time. Wish the oh man, wish I could take a video of the stars right now. They look really great. You. Oh, but I am not irritated with anyone in particular, because, you know, when people tell you to your face that they don't give a shit, like, you know, really ain't nothing to get, like, irritated about. The thing is the, practicality. Let's see if I can do this. Of that. I just woke up a couple hours ago. So, oops. I just deleted a text message that I did not want to delete. Let's see if I can figure that out. Shit. Okay. Since the light keeps cutting off, we're going to use this. So, there is my lantern. Ooh. So that was chaotic, but the light's on. But yeah, like I was saying, I've been trying to do, or what happened in the last couple days, which is interesting. Will go along with my running dialogue. I am, I'm doing a lot of math constantly on, like, what I should do, on my time, what I need to be done, what needs to be done, like the time limit and stuff that I have for everything. It's a constant, like, mathematical equation because I'm dumb. My, brain is dumb and stuff, so, I don't exactly, like, you have to think everything through. So, I've been trying to, like, I have to constantly, like, calculate, like, what things mean to me. Some people are like, oh, people with autism have empathy and stuff, and it's like, that is the difference, between, like, autism and Asperger's. Somebody running. Is, like, people who have autism have empathy, issues, like, every second of day, like constantly, like it's a constant, you know, you have to, like your entire environment, um, you know, for everything, you, other people, the grass, like everything. Lots of people don't, really don't like, people who have autism and stuff. Like, you know, it's not a very, it's, you know, is a real serious, like, you know, situation and stuff. You know, it's not something that, like, any disease, you know, it's not something that, like, everybody has and stuff, like, or disorder. Um, you know, most people won't ever meet anybody with it, you know. So the consensus is, though, is that all these worlds and, like, social groups and stuff like that, and rights and activists will do all this stuff, and then when it comes down to somebody actually having a condition, you know, it's like they have done so much activist work that it has completely turned around. That there is no autism awareness. Like, people shun people like that. You know, it is very much 100% when an animal won't take care of the one, like, animal in their litter that's sick and it's gonna die. Like, that is the thing with autism that people do. The thing is that as humans, you know, we have medical disorders and stuff. So, like, you don't have to die because you have a weak system. That is, like, the whole reason why humanity is developed over, you know, 20,000 years is because of medical situations like autism. The actual autism spectrum disorder that has a weakened neurological system, because it has a neurological developmental disorder. That is the only neurological developmental disorder, like, that is the disorder. So I meet people that, like, threaten me and stuff and try to scare me, like they're talking to my nervous system and stuff. So I'm like, what do I, like, you know, of course, me being the person that I am, you know, I am Chelsea, you know, who has my life, who has lived my life and stuff. You know, and the first thing is, you know, it's funny to me, like, because, you know, slavery is not legal. You can pretend all day long in your mind that somebody is your slave, you know, but literally people can walk away from you. But at the same time, I mean, you know, like, what I'm insinuating is that, you know, I've had a, you know, pretty decent long life. You know, no, I'm not ready to die by any means, but I've lived through a lot of stuff and experienced a lot of stuff more than most people. I have had a lot of privilege, because I have a mind about me. I have had, you know, more conversations than, like, you know, 10 people I know put together in my lifetime. So it doesn't change my life or anything, you know, with what people do and stuff, but at the same time, you know, like, it's like if I go to someone that, you know, I work with, or that's a friend or a family member, and I'm talking to them and they start, like, you know, acting like a wild animal, it sucks, you know. You can't make someone go get medical help. And like I said, having the disorder I have to constantly have like um, a stream of thought and calculations running about how I manage myself and my life and stuff. So when I go to talk to somebody, um, you know, and they start flipping the fuck out about, you know, invisible bats or something like that, yeah, I don't exactly, like, there isn't anything you can do, but, like, you know, it takes me, it's a little traumatic. It takes me a couple days to, like, calm down on a base level, to, like, you know, because I think about it. You know, sometimes people will say something that hurts my feelings. That's not a very common thing. Um, probably for every like 20 times that somebody like comes at me like a wild animal, like in, you know, talking to me or something, like in their logic, not making any sense, you know, about 1 in 20 times someone will actually say something that's like towards me, maybe even like 1 in 30 times, because this happens constantly. Like, this is a big part of my life, is dealing with people that are like that. It's never a thing where, like, I meet someone that I've known them for 10 years and then they do that. Like, it's, you know, a habit of some people. Like, some people have mental illnesses. Some people, you know, out of, like, if you talk to somebody, like, every day in a year, like, if of a mentally ill person, maybe you'll maybe have like 2 days that they'll be able to like be in touch with reality and have like a long conversation with you about stuff that like is actually like real and current and logical and stuff. It's a very confusing situation. You know, it's like kind of on the other, you know, it's funny because like often enough these people are like, oh, I'm autistic, because they don't ever really say anything, which, you know, all of that I just explained is a mental illness. You know, like I explained 5 minutes ago, a person with autism doesn't have a lot of conversation and stuff because they don't have anybody to talk to. Like, you can't diagnose a person having a problem with speech because they don't have anybody to talk to. Like, that wouldn't make, like, you know, make me have autism. And I mean literally, like, nobody understands. Like, there isn't anybody responding. Because people are mentally ill. You don't flip it and make the one person in the conversation that's sane have the medical disorder. Like, the person that's showing the symptoms is the person that has the mental illness. That's how mental illness works. So that is how disorders work in medicine and stuff. So like I was saying, like, you know, so me categorizing and having, you know, empathy problems on, you know, not knowing how to walk properly and take care of my legs and my feet and stuff is a lot different from somebody screaming in your face every single time that you go to have a conversation with them. Like, those are two, like, there is absolutely, you can list 100 symptoms on either side, on, you know, in both, like, situations, one being autism and one being Asperger's, and there ain't no part of either two of those that has anything to do with each other. Like, literally, there is absolutely nothing to do with in between Asperger's and autism. Like, to say so is to be like like it's pretty fucked up. Like, that was ever in like a medical book or anything. That 100%, you know, it's pretty cool. We got the spooky lighting and stuff going, but very seriously, that comparison anywhere, like, that was made between Asperger's and autism is legit made by people who put people in gas chambers. Like, that is the logic behind it. Like, there isn't any. There is absolutely, like, those people were psychotic. What they were seeing and stuff and logicked out and stuff is hallucinations. Like, it's delusional. Like, that isn't reality. And that's what, you know, and then, but the thing is like, there was people who have been dealing with this for the last 100 years. Like, people being called autistic who have ADHD. And I totally feel for those people. But the thing is that you are also super fucked up if you sit around for after you have been, you know, like, and express your anger. You know, that means that you are saying that, you know, there isn't much different. Like, it's a Stockholm syndrome thing to call yourself autistic when you don't have ASD. Like, it 100% is a Stockholm thing. It is a mental illness. It is a behavioral symptom. You can go to jail for it. You can go to jail for faking medical illnesses and saying that you have something and you don't. And it 100%, like, is getting close to where, like, that's not, you know, I don't think it'll be in, you know, things like that are, you know, very rarely advertised in the, you know, or like on the news, like medical malpractice and stuff like that. But like, that is illegal. Like, if somebody finds out at some point in time and you are living your life and obtaining services and stuff, like, do something, you know, really profoundish and stuff, like, at some point in time you will get found out. Like, you know, yeah, people may be dumb and nobody pays attention to stuff like that and don't really know what that is, but like, obviously some people do. You know, and so, you know, and sometimes I do come across people who do know. Like, I have come across other people that are like, yeah, this is a huge cult. I've come across people that are like, yeah, all this is ADHD. Like, that is the definition of ADHD. And that's all, you know, that I've said and stuff. So I am not, and these are not people who have it, who have ASD. So even if people can't talk about it, like, because they really don't know the details and stuff, and that is, you know, an empathetic thing to not talk about stuff if you can't fully explain stuff, like, is, you know, empathetic for you and others, to not open, you know, the saying about, you know, not about opening your mouth and proving that you're full kind of thing, you know, like, it's intelligent to wait till you have more information in order to talk about stuff, and people exploit that, and that's really fucking gross. Logically, yes, if you have a situation that you really don't know about and stuff, it is super arrogant to go around, you know, pretending like you know something. It is if you took something serious, you would work on how you talked about it. If you were cared about stuff, you know, you would do the logic and not repeat, you know, old weird Southern narcissistic opinions that absolutely nobody agrees with on either side. Politically, we can say conservative or liberal. Like, nobody is like, okay, that's like, you know, we're past those opinions, like, you know, 70 years or something. Like, or, you know, when you're in a group of people who are all pretty educated, you know, and everybody's over the age of 40, and then you got somebody coming in doing some weird gaslighting shit that, you know, most everybody, you know, dealt with when they were like 17, 18, 19 years old. You know, nobody really says anything because it's like, man, what the fuck are you doing? You know, but it still creates like emotional waves and stuff like that. And somebody who does, you know, comes in with like, doesn't think before they speak and just blurts out, you know, goes wild, has a mental illness and stuff, they don't care. You know, they'll find some reason within themselves to make them feel, you know, to prove some kind of weird little feeling within their body. That's ADHD, when people do that. Because first and foremost, you are not your thoughts. Ooh. So, the sun's coming up. That's what I'm sitting here waiting on. It was a little chilly. I had gotten hot. Where the cigarettes? So, the thing is that when people do stuff like that, it makes you feel alone. If you know your friend is going through a hard time, you talk to them about it, you know, and that's how I know I don't have any friends. I mean, I have like one or two, you know, I have about 2 or 3 people that, you know, friends that, yeah, right at 3, maybe even 5, we'll say a handful of people that, yeah, about a good handful of people that will talk to me about, you know, what's going on in my life and stuff. And I've always been like that, you know, and like make eye contact, and, you know, they don't know much about, they know me, they've known me for, you know, a very long time, and, you know that I've struggled with things medically and have been working with doctors, you know, to try to figure something out. Like, I have other friends that have medical conditions and stuff, that have dealt with the same thing, where they have tried to, you know, their parents and stuff were like, you know, things take time sometimes with medical situations. And, I personally have not had, like, you know, any close family that, working with me on this. My family is really old, and so they're not, and also didn't go to college. So, you know, the whole studying and the work and stuff that goes into taking control over like a medical condition and stuff and figuring it out is not, you know, part of my family and stuff. They support me, you know, of course, and they have worked with me and helped me on certain aspects. You know, if I have a question, I'm like, hey, you know, logically, like, what would you say? You know, that kind of thing. Like, so, you know, and everybody's always been really great about that. You know, I could ask my friends the same kind of questions, like, you know, or people I work with, or, stuff like that. But, you know, at the same time, though, like, there's definitely, as I am involved in many different types of social circles and stuff, there's some people, that just don't, um, want to talk about, like, medical conditions and stuff. They've got, often enough, they have, and I know this because I have somebody in my family who has a mood disorder. They have mood disorder problems. They have an unmedicated mood disorder, and conversations are a little bit more difficult with people like that. It has to be on their terms. And often enough, those people just don't want to talk to you if they can't get something out of, and yes, that is a problem, but that is their medical disorder, not yours, obviously. So, everybody deserves to socialize and stuff like that, of course, but, like, when it comes to, conversations and stuff like that, like, over a period of time, that is, like, you have to stay. If you have that kind of medical, disorder, a mental disorder like that, it's behavior problems, and, you have to live your life in a way that keeps you from acting out towards others. I don't have that problem. If I act out and I do something to someone else, like, I usually 99% of the time have a very, very, valid reason. I don't like it because I don't agree with it. But, action comes in all different forms. Sometimes I explained this to somebody 2 years ago. I was like, sometimes it's okay to yell at people. If your kid is about to jump in the pool and by themselves and stuff, hell yeah, you better scream. So, if you are trying to help somebody like that, and they don't give a shit and are constantly fighting you, and they're not your child and stuff, then, you just gotta ignore it. That was something that I was taught by my grandmother, that her mother told her, funny enough, and I was like, yeah, I mean, that is the conclusion. You just gotta ignore stuff like that. I mean, but the thing is that, and this comes from, no offense to him, but, I have a sibling with a severe mood disorder. And the pattern is, and all people are like this who have mood disorders, is that, is part of addiction. It's an addiction thing. There's the mechanics of it and whatnot. And, over a period of time, these people, well, like, if you have conversations and stuff with them, like, they will forget, like, what you've talked about, because they don't care. Like, they're not actually listening. Just like me talking about people who can't read over 6th grade level. Like, you can follow along with the words and stuff, but you don't retain it because you're not actually reading it. If you could read over 6th grade level, you would be retaining the information. That is the difference between being able, that is the the difference between eating and shitting. When you're like, and you can read in 2 different ways. You can eat, or you can read and shit, at the same time. And both of them manifest. So, is reading out versus reading in. I think that's a really good point, and that's totally a thing. Not everybody even, not, people don't understand that concept, because if you understood what reading was, you'd be able to know whether or not, you're reading something or not. You would be able to be like, oh, I didn't read that, I saw the information, but I didn't intake it. I say stuff like that because sometimes, man, this shadow makes my hair look crazy. Sometimes I will look over something and not intake the information. Sometimes I spend 3 hours looking at a piece of paper and don't remember anything about it. Like, I did that for years and years and years and years. But for me, I converted all that into math, numbers and stuff. So now that I'm actually reading and intaking in the information and stuff, I can at least refer back to when I intook it before. Now there's some subjects I don't. It just went straight over my head. And that's on purpose. Like that, is my choice. So you can't say like that you have a medical disorder and what it is actually you make poor choices. So parts of some medical disorders, like people who have mental illnesses, make poor choices. That is the problem socially with mental illnesses and stuff. And but the thing is that that doesn't really have to do with you unless you sign something or say that it has to do with you. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna try this out for a little bit and see how it works and chill in here and then pack it all back up and put it back to normal because I don't live in my car. So that's what I've been thinking about. That's what I'm thinking about. Just kind of floating around right now in space. Yeah. So it is. What is it? It's Sunday. I think it's the 22nd. I think it's the 22nd. Let's see. Yes, it is Sunday, February 22nd. Hope everybody has a good day.